Who here is afraid of change? Kind of like that old Fleetwood Mac song. I've been afraid of changing because I've built my life around you. Landslide. It's not always that way, but I will be honest. I definitely suffer from a fear of change. And for me, when you get accustomed to the way things are and the way things are working, sometimes you don't necessarily want to make a change. Ooh. But change is inevitable. As you have seen from some of the last couple of videos, I have made a fairly significant change in my business. And I'm going to be talking about that today. So this is Little Red. Little Red, the plan is Little Red will be the lawn maintenance truck moving forward. I'm going to get another ramp for the back, either from Dale or from another vendor, or possibly from somebody local who can build one, however I can do it. But I'm going to get another ramp, and I'm going to be using this truck, Little Red, as my primary maintenance truck. It'll have the Vantage and a battery-powered mower in the back, possibly the 30 if I can fit it in there, if that works. If not, I'll adjust my business plan accordingly. But one second while this key sometimes gets a little bit, sometimes it doesn't want to turn. It's an old key. There we go. So the question is why. Some people are going to ask, why did you do this? Was this really necessary? And I suppose technically it wasn't necessary 100%. The way I had it before, the trailer was my backup. That landscaping trailer was my backup hauler for the mowers. And I would use the Ram to pull it if I needed to. And the Chevy, the 88 Chevy, was my main mowing truck. It's got a long bed. It's a great mower hauler. Being a 3/4 ton, light duty 3/4 ton. It's a great mowing truck. However, the issue was getting to, whenever I needed to use that trailer. Actually, I think I'm going to go this way. Whenever I was needing to use that trailer, I would have to go over to where it was stored. I had it stored at my brother's house. I did not have any room in my setup, in my shop, to accommodate a trailer. Something that didn't have its own motor and couldn't be pulled around. And the fact that I wasn't using it hardly ever meant it became more of a liability than an asset. I had it parked there, and it was just collecting dust, essentially. It wasn't making me any money. Hold it, actually. Now that I think about it, I don't have a toll tag on this truck yet, so I'm actually going to go a different route over there to my subdivision. So, realizing these factors, I started to think, okay, I probably need to get rid of this trailer. Since trailerless setups are kind of my thing and the way I've been operating for the past, 4 or 5 years since I've been in business. And that works really well for me and for the yards that I service around here. It doesn't really make a lot of sense for me to own a trailer and use it once or twice a year. And I'm paying I'm using it maybe once or twice a year, I'm paying the registration on it to keep the tags current. If something goes wrong with it, I have to pay maintenance on it. I have to be inspecting it constantly to make sure everything's good. and for something I'm not even using, it became a liability more than an asset. And so I had been thinking about this for several months, and really for a year or two, to be honest, but several months a lot more intently. And there was one job in particular where it really hit me that, I needed to make this change. And the job that it was on was you might have seen a couple of weeks ago, I did a cleanup job where I went and trimmed a bunch of bushes for one of my subdivision clients, and I trimmed up, some shrubs and did some cleanups, some small trees, that sort of thing. But the big takeaway for that was, initially my plan was, okay, I'm going to go pick up the trailer, take the trailer up there, throw all the debris on the trailer, problem solved, everything will be good. Well, it got closer to the date, and I had other yards to mow in the morning, and I had the 88 Chevy already. So then I got to thinking, it'd be easier, it'd be less time and less headache and less crap I got to deal with if I just take the mowers out of the Chevy, put them in the garage, and then take the 88 Chevy over to his house. It's got, an 8-foot long bed plus the ramp, however 2 feet or a foot and a half, however much longer that is. It's got more than enough room to haul these limbs. He's not going to have that much brush. And I ended up being correct in that. I went over there and I was able to just take the truck by itself and not have to deal with a trailer. And pickup trucks going to the dump to dump things, no problem. Usually everything's cool. If you show up there with a trailer, a lot of times, the residential dump anyway that I'm familiar with, they will not let you dump with trailers. You go in there with a dump trailer like that one there, that one that just drove by me, they will tell you to leave. They will basically say, sorry, you cannot dump here. So thinking about that aspect, I got to thinking while I was doing this job and while I was going home from the dump, I was thinking, this worked out really well this way. Why don't I just do this? Whenever I have a job that's like this, I can just fill up the truck with this debris, and there's no sense in me going to all this effort for a trailer. And I don't do a lot of these cleanup jobs, hardly ever. Maintenance is my thing. The weekly maintenance of the bushes and the lawn and everything is my thing. These type of cleanups don't happen all that often. So trying to plan, to have equipment to use once a year or once or twice a year is just, it's foolish. So I said to myself, I've got to make this change, and I got to get another truck, and I've got to use that as a mowing truck and use Big Red as my landscaping truck for materials, mulch bags, debris from flower beds, that sort of thing, because that's what it's really good for. And as old as it is, it's good to kind of give it a little bit less use and not be relying on it every single day. So I began the journey. I began looking, and I found a couple of trucks that I liked. I went and looked at one. I talked about it in a video a week or two ago. I went and looked at one, and it didn't pan out. It had a big oil leak underneath it. There was hardly any oil on the dipstick, and where the oil was a huge concern for me. And the title, there was a problem with the title. It was in the previous owner's name, and it was just a bunch of song and dance I didn't want to deal with. So I passed on that one, and I ended up letting that go. Well, I found this one. This is a just for the references, this is a 2001 Silverado. It's a Z71, which means it's a 4x4. Now, this is the first four-wheel drive truck I've ever owned, so it wasn't something I necessarily wanted or needed, but I will be okay with it. In the long run, it may actually be beneficial. It may be safer, a little bit safer to use in some instances with weather conditions and that sort of thing. But the big thing was there were several things I wanted on the truck, and this truck had all of those things that I wanted. So, and when I went to test drive it, it checked out. Everything checked out. The owner, the story the owner told on the truck made sense. The title was clean in his name. Everything was good. So, you know, we held out a little longer and we got a much better truck, even if it has more miles than the other one we looked at. I'll do a more detailed video on the truck, the new truck, at some point soon, but once I start getting it ready for mowing next season. But basically, this week I'm going to be using Little Red, or Red Junior as it's going to be called. Red Junior, Little Red, something like that. I'm going to be using Little Red this whole week, and so far, you know, one day in, it's going to be making me more money than that trailer made me all season. And, you know, like I said, this boils down to what type of business you're going to run and how you're going to be set up. And for me, doing, you know, premium lawn care and garden bed maintenance, you know, shrub trimming, that sort of thing, and flower installations, getting away from heavy landscaping and, you know, things where you need a dump trailer, you need a 3/4 ton or 1 ton truck or a flatbed or something like that. Getting away from that, it doesn't make sense to own a trailer, especially, you know, that trailer was kind of an odd duck in itself. You know, it was a 6x12, but only a single axle. So a lot of people don't want that. They want a double axle. They either want a longer trailer and a double axle, or they want a shorter trailer and a single axle. You know, that type of configuration, you know, isn't something a lot of people want. And I ran into that a little bit with some people that looked at it. They were, you know, oh, it's only a single, oh, never mind, you know, and they kind of, but I sold it. It's gone. I don't have to play games with going over there and, you know, moving stuff around and getting it out and getting it back in and any of that crap. You know, all of that's done. Everything's going to be streamlined moving forward. I'm going to be using the Red Junior to do the lawn maintenance every day. And Big Red will be the backup truck for Red Junior in case, you know, in case I need to put it in the shop or have some repair done. Then Big Red will be back in the saddle with that. And Big Red will be used to haul around the mulch and the flowers and that sort of thing. And I still have the Ram, of course. The Ram's not going anywhere. That's going to be my truck that I use exclusively for if I have to do estimates or quotes or something like that. Or, you know, or even if I need to go out to one of my subdivisions and do a few odds and ends, you know, plant a few flowers or trim something, or, you know, put faucet covers on in the winter, something minor like that. You know, that will be the Rams. That will be the Rams' job moving forward. It's going to be more of a personal vehicle from now on. If it were anything to me, it would be more like the account manager's vehicle. If, you know, if I had multiple people and multiple crews, you know, that truck would be my account manager truck, and this truck would be a service truck, and the 88 Chevy would be a project truck, materials truck. But, you know, that's kind of the hat. Those are the hats I'm going to wear from now on with this. And it's scary for me, especially for me being someone who likes everything kind of the way it is. You know, I don't like a lot of big changing. I don't like a lot of deviation. I like to have a norm and kind of stick to that. And I like to kind of know what I'm doing, and every day to be kind of the same, or the way I've scheduled it out, I like for it to go that way. And so making some sort of a move like this, you know, it's a big deal. It is scary. You know, it is kind of a gamble. You're throwing yourself out there a little bit. And, you know, it's not so much about the money necessarily. You know, when you talk about used trucks, especially a 2001 truck, you know, you're talking about minuscule amounts of money. You know, there are companies that spend, you know, $100,000 on their lawn truck fleet. You know, there's companies that spend 25, 30 grand on a truck. You know, this ain't me. This ain't what I'm doing. You know, and you know what? I saw my friend out. I'm gonna double back around and holler at my friend. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up here in just a minute. Once I turn around up here and go back to, I'm gonna holler at my friend. I saw him out pulling weeds in his yard. I'm gonna drop by and say hi. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up. I just wanted to talk about changes in business. This is a big change I've made, and it's gonna be a good one. Don't be afraid to make a change like this, because sometimes it's just something you need to do. And if you're afraid to do it, you know, you'll let things pass you by, and you'll get stuck in a situation where you can't, you know, due to finances or due to time or whatever it may be. You know, you'll be in a situation where you have what you have, and that's it. And for me, I'm in a position now where I was able to make this change, and fortunately for me, it's going to work out. It's going to work out really well. And you can't be afraid to make change, or you can't be afraid to change to make changes. Changes that are beneficial for your business, they will be scary. Sometimes they will even, you know, keep you up at night. But once you make them, once you follow through with them, you will be better off in the long run. I'm at a stop sign, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video.